So you want to know whether or not you can have a folding stock adapter on your California compliant rifle or pistol. Well, let's talk about that today. This is going to cover just briefly the assault weapon definitions, and then we're going to actually talk about why you can or cannot, or what circumstances would have to be considered before you can put a folding stock on your AR-15 or AK or similar firearm. First, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of this channel though, Franklin Armory. They're a huge supporter of the channel. They were the first company to ever, and only company ever, to send me a firearm, which is super cool, and I'm thankful to have them on board. Go ahead and check out their CA7, CA11, and CA12, 3 AR-15 pistols on the handgun roster. They're one of the few companies that goes above and beyond just slapping a fin grip on a gun and saying, hey, California, give us our money, give us your money, we support you. So I'm very thankful to have them on board. I forgot to mention when I was recording this, but before we even get into this, you need to understand I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I'm just kind of reading some definitions and explaining why you can't do something. Now let's get into the video. So let's say, for example, this is not a rifle. This is an other. But let's say that this was a rifle for demonstration purposes. Could I have a folding stock? Well, federally, when it comes to the NFA, any rifle has to have an overall length of greater than 26 inches. It also has to have a barrel of over 16 inches in order to not be considered a short-barreled rifle. Now, in the state of California, it goes a little bit further because we have to first look at the assault weapon definition for a rifle. So a firearm that is a semi-auto, centerfire rifle that does not have a fixed magazine but has any one of the following, and it lists all the features, one of which being a folding or telescoping stock. So if you wanted to have a featureless rifle in the state of California, no, you cannot have a folding stock. Now, you're going to probably ask me, what about if I have a rifle that's a fixed mag, like I put the AR mag lock or a comp mag or some sort of magazine device that locks the magazine in. It does not hold more than 10 rounds, but the magazine is fixed in place, meaning I have to disassemble the firearm action in order to take the mag out. Can you have a folding stock? Well, I'm going to show you just a few quick things on here, if I can get this all in frame. So we're going to go out to 26 inches. Now, 26 inches measured from the end of the threads, which is approximately right there, to the end of the gun. It goes a little bit over to the buffer tube. If we see here, 26 inches hits just about where this QD point is. Now, with a law folder, typically with a 16-inch barrel, you would be able to get to that 26-inch mark. You're very close. Whether or not you want to play it that close, you know, like maybe you have law enforcement bring out the ruler and his idea of 26 inches is really 25 and a half or 26 and a half, vice versa. You know, that's up to you. But with a law folder on a fixed mag gun, you might hit 26 inches, but that doesn't actually matter. Let's talk about that. So in the state of California, you need to have if you have a semi-auto centerfire rifle that has an overall length of less than 30 inches. So semi-auto centerfire that has an overall length of less than 30 inches. Now, the state of California, unfortunately, it measures that from the shortest fireable configuration, which kinda sucks, because if you're gonna then have a gun that from the shortest fireable configuration, with the law folder, the gun can still fire if there's a round in the chamber. Whether or not it cycles properly, it's still considered semi-automatic, because if we look at the definition of an assault weapon and the DOJ interpretation of semi-automatic, it considers if all the parts are there to be semi-auto, it's just folded or put on safe, it's still semi-auto. So the state says that you need to hit 30 inches. Now, 30 inches measured from the end of the threads, let's take it right there. 30 inches hits almost to the bottom of the stock, meaning that if I wanted to have a law folder, which would come to about right there, I would need it to be approximately at least a 20-inch barrel. So here I have the 30-inch mark right at the buffer tube, right at the detent holes where it was for the 26 inches. You see how much further past the barrel I would have to go? So in the state of California, if you have a rifle and it's semi-auto, you're most likely not going to be able to have a folding stock, even if it's fixed magazine. So that means your SIG MCX or the MPX, whatever it is, those cool folding stocks, the Brownells BRN 180, the new ones, they have lower receivers that are designed to have a folding stock. you're still not going to be able to have that because the overall length would be less than 30 inches unless you went with like a 22-inch barrel, which at that point, why are you running a folding stock? But it's unfortunate. You still can't do it. So we've talked about rifles in the state of California, which that gun there was not, but it was just for demonstration purposes. Now, let's say this is an AR-15 pistol. Let's say this is fixed magazine, meaning that in order for me to remove the magazine, I would have to pop out the rear pin, open this gun up, and then press the mag release. This gun would be considered a pistol. If I put a vertical foregrip on it, right now, this gun would still be over the 26 inches overall length, and I would be fine because of that. If you put a law folder on your California compliant fixed mag AR-15 pistol, you're then no longer necessarily going to be at the 26 inches overall length. You would need about a 16-inch barrel to do that. Once you put that law folder on your California compliant pistol, if you were to put a vertical foregrip on it, you would be in a lot of trouble. The gun would be California compliant, but the gun would be illegal under the NFA. The NFA, when it comes to that, is a whole big mess, and I very much clearly am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. I'm basically telling you, you probably can't put a law folder on a rifle. When it comes to pistols, you really got to be worried about the NFA laws because that gets into a lot more sketchy territory if you want to end up putting on your vertical foregrip. So hopefully that answers your questions. If you have any more questions, if this wasn't clear enough, maybe I can make a second part video, but I feel like this was pretty clear. In summary, on a rifle, you're probably not going to be able to put it on your fixed mag, mag-locked AR-15 because the overall length is not going to be 30 inches. On a pistol, you can, but if you wanted to put a vertical foregrip on it, you have to worry about the NFA laws and how that comes into play. So I'm going to leave a link down to the assault weapon definitions down below so that you can read that for yourself and understand why on a rifle you can't. If you want to know more about the NFA laws, please look elsewhere. I am not a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the NFA because in California, we can't have shit. But you guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.